Hello students, how are you? Yesterday I explained you the definition and characteristics of money, and then the functions of money. These all I have already explained you. Now today I am going to teach you the next topic, that is money supply. You know what's the meaning of money supply. Whatever money circulated in the market is money supply. Then the various concept of money supply is there: M1, M2, M3 and 4. These all concepts I will explain you in this video today. If you have not watched my earlier videos in which I have already explained you the national income concept, definition, different concept, measurement, difficulties, many topics I have already covered of macroeconomics as well as of microeconomics, then I request you to go to my channel and watch all those videos. And if you like them, please don't forget to like, subscribe and share. Now we are going to start the new topic, that is money supply. Money supply, as you already know what is money supply. Money supply is the most important part of the monetary economics, and in this money supply we will understand M1, M2, M3 and M4, the measure that defines liquidity in an economy. Money, you know about the money. Then what are these concepts? I will explain you in this video today. Then what is money supply? Money supply is the total stock of money. You see that this is the total stock of money, and in this stock of money what are covered? Currency and deposits, both currency as well as deposits held by the public in an economy at a given point in time. See the important things which is included in money supply is: this is total stock of money, this is held by the public in an economy at a given point of time. It includes currency with the public and bank deposits. It excludes government cash balances and interbank deposits. In this money supply, government cash balances are not included, and interbank deposits are not included in money supply, and it is measured and published by a country's central bank, RBI in India, and is a key input for monetary policy. This money supply is tracked to manage inflation and liquidity. Then 4 measures of money supply. As I explained you just now, that 4 measures of money supply are M1, M2, M3 and M4. Then first one is M1. M1 is narrow concept of money. In this M1 money, only currency with the public plus demand deposits plus other deposits with the central bank are included in narrow money M1. In M1, only these three are included: currency with the public, currency or notes. All those high power money is included in this with the public, and demand deposits plus other deposits with central bank. Then M2. What are M2? In M2, post office savings are also included in M1. Means M2 equal to M1 plus saving deposits held with post office saving banks. Then if we include post office saving banks deposits, then it is M2. Then next concept is M3. It is broad money. M1 plus net time deposits held with banks. The most widely tracked measure is broad money, M3. Then M4, it is the broadest measure. M3 plus total post deposits excluding national savings certificates. This is M4. Then M1, M2, M3 and M4. These are 4 concept of money supply. First one is M1, narrow money. The most liquid measure of money supply. Means the most liquid form of money is M1 only. In M1, what are included? Currency with the public, notes and coins in circulation outside banks. Outside banks, whatever the currency and notes are in circulation are included in M1. Then demand deposits with banks. current account plus saving account balance withdrawable on demand. Then other deposits with the central bank, balance of institutions other than the government and banks. This is the narrow concept of money, M1. Next is M2. M2 equal to, M2 means M1 plus saving deposits held with post office saving banks. If we include the deposits in post office saving bank, then it is M2. M2 equal to M1 plus post office saving deposits. Think of it as M1 plus the balance sitting in the post office saving account. It is slightly less than M1 since post office saving involve marginally different withdrawal norms. In post office savings, we have to, there are more norms for withdrawal from post office. Captures household saving channeled through the postal banking network common in rural and semi-urban India. Then this is M2. First one is M1, next is M2. Then next is M3. M3 may what will be included in M3? M3 equal to M1 plus, you know, M1 plus net time deposits with banks minus fixed and recurring deposits not payable on demand. Then it is widely referred as aggregate money resources and is the central bank's preferred indicator of overall money liquidity. Whatever liquidity are included in the market, it is reflected from M3, the most widely used measure of policy purpose. Because it includes time deposits, it is broader but less liquid than M1 and M2. It is less liquid than M1, M2. Naturally, it is less liquid than M4. M4 equal to M3 plus total post office deposits excluding national savings certificates. The least liquid and broadest measure of money supply means if we are to measure the money supply, then this is the least liquid measure of money supply. Rarely used for short-term policy decision, but useful for understanding the full scale of saving in the economy. Then this is the fourth measure of money supply, M4. Then if we see the liquidity spectrum, then M1, M2, M3 and M4, if we move from M4 to M1, then it increases liquidity, and if we move from M1 to M4, it is increasing less liquidity. M1 is currency plus demand deposits. M2 equal to M1 means currency plus demand deposits plus post office savings. M3 equal to M1 plus demand deposits. M4 equal to M3 plus all post office deposits. These are the four concept of money supply. Four measures, one picture of liquidity. M1 is narrow money, is the most liquid measure, currency and demand deposits ready for immediate use. If we can use this M1 for immediate exchange of goods and services. M2 and M3 progressively add post office savings and bank time deposits. It's widen the base. Then M4 is the broadest measure capturing nearly all forms of public savings. M3 is the central bank's preferred indicator for tracking inflation and overall liquidity. So these are the four measures of money supply. These M1, M2, M3 and M4. Students, in this concept of money supply is not only important for your examination point of view, but it is also important for competitive exam point of view also. In competitive exams also, it is again and again it is asked that what is the meaning of M1, M2, M3 and M4. So each and everyone should know the meaning of this M1, M2, M3 and M4 and the four measures of money supply. Each one of us should know about this. So it is quite important topic. If you have any problem in understanding these concept of money supplies, these measures of money supply, you can ask me anything in the comment box. I will try to answer your queries as soon as possible. And again, I request you to see my all those videos which I have previously published for your purpose only. Then and thank you very much.